Roses. If they're not America's favorite flower, they darn well ought to be. And many of us grow roses. And one of the things that you need to know to grow roses successfully is how to properly winterize roses. Now that simply means hardening them off and getting them ready to stand the rigors of the winter. And the first step involved in winterizing roses is called hardening off. And we do that about 6 weeks before frost simply by not fertilizing or watering our plants very much at all. The next step takes place after a good hard frost. Now these roses are still actively growing. They're obviously not ready to be winterized, but I want to show you the process and how it's done so that you'll be ready to do it at the right time of year. After a good hard frost, we want to cut our roses back to about 12 to 18 inches tall. And when we do that, we want to make our pruning cuts right above a node. A node is simply a growing point on a stem, and we want to make our cut right above the node. And when we do so, we want to use good, sharp, bypass pruning shears to do this. They make good cuts. And of course, the reason that we're doing this is because these stems could dry out during the winter or desiccate. And we want to reduce that desiccation simply by cutting the tops off the plant. And of course, if you've got any dead stems at all like this one, those should be cut back all the way to the ground. And our goal is to cut the rows back to about 12 to 18 inches tall. After we've got it cut back to 12 or 18 inches, we're going to go somewhere else in the garden and get some good topsoil. This step is called hilling the rows. We're actually going to make a mound of earth around the base of the rows after we've had a good hard frost again to insulate the soil and keep the cold in the root zone. Again, our goal is to prevent temperature fluctuations. We don't want the rows to start growing on a warm day in January. Once it's properly hilled up and the soil firm to protect the crown, we're going to make a chicken wire cylinder. We want to make it big enough to be able to go over the plant and give us plenty of room to put mulch in there. And if you've got good pruning shears, you've probably got a wire cutting notch on them. If you don't, then use wire cutters for this job. Don't damage your shears. Cut straight down through the chicken wire. And then fasten the ends together so you've got a cylinder. Once you've got the chicken wire formed into a nice neat cylinder, place it over the rose bush and stake it down with a couple of metal or even wooden stakes so that the wind doesn't blow it over. And then fill it with mulch. And you need to use a mulch that doesn't compact during the winter. I like pine needles for this purpose. They never quite pack tightly. We can fill this basket to a height of about 6 to 12 inches, depending on how cold it is in your part of the country. And we'll leave it that way until next spring. In the springtime, we're going to reverse the process. We carefully remove the basket and then just as carefully take away the mulch. Now there may be new growth coming up if it's been warm, and we want to be careful not to damage it. And after we've gotten the mulch pulled away, and don't throw it away or dispose of it, then we carefully pull the soil back. Again, be careful of new shoots that may be coming up at the base of the rows. They'll be very brittle and they'll break easily. Remove the soil. And then, in the spring, if there's a danger of a late frost, you can use the same mulch and place it carefully around the base of the plant to protect those new shoots. If you'll follow these steps in the fall, and again in the spring, you'll be smelling good roses all summer long in the great outdoors.